Thank you very much. We have a second parents' report. I would like that to be read out as well. Which one is it? Ich bin Jeremiahs Vater. Das erste, was wir von LaRouche gehört haben, war, weil LaRouche, weil er als Jeremiah nach Deutschland
great sense of fun and enjoying life with his girlfriend, who he had a steady girlfriend in Paris. However, he, in a phone call to his mother, he said, can you look into LaRouche, as he pronounced it? And he was too busy to do it on the internet himself. Erica typed in R-O-C-H-E and got nothing that was relevant. Now, by missing out that U, we could have done something that might have saved his life, because it was only after he was killed that we started finding out, much to our horror and shock, what was going on behind these scenes. So everything that's led us here today, including a letter that our lawyers got just yesterday, was if we stand up here and say, do you think the LaRouche organization is responsible for Jeremiah's death, then they'll sue us. So all I'm going to say is, if I knew what happened in the last 3 or 4 hours the night Jerry was killed, then I would know better. But I do have certain suspicions, obviously. Now, certain statements that people made sort of stick in my mind because of the shock we were in. And first of all, we heard the shocking news at 4 o'clock on the Thursday, the 27th of March, but we were in a state of great worry all that day, because when Erica received her phone call at 5:24 German time AM, when Jerry rang and said he was in big, big trouble, she immediately rang 999 because she knew from the tone of his voice that his life was in deadly peril. She rang me. I was sort of saying, oh, well, what can we do? But she'd already phoned 999 and had managed to get through by some means or other to a special intelligence officer, which of course was around 4:30 in the morning, British time. And all he could say was, we can't do anything about Germany. And how did you get this number? That was his take on it. So at 4 o'clock that afternoon, I arrived outside Erica's place, just as a policeman and a policewoman were getting out of a car. We'd heard nothing all day, apart from the fact that Jerry's girlfriend had received a phone call from one of the students who, on the mobile, asking if she'd heard from Jerry that he'd run away. This was at 7:30 when these people knew already that he was dead, because he had actually been killed around 6:10, 40 minutes after he made the phone call to his mother to say, I'm in big, big trouble. A couple of sentences later, the phone was cut. He came back. Erica says, where are you? Wiesbaden, W-I-E-S, and then the phone line was cut again. So his girlfriend had captured the mobile phone number, given it to Erica. So that morning, we kept phoning up. Sebastian was his name, as we found out later. And, of course, he wasn't answering the phone. There was nothing, except at 10:53 German time, the phone was answered. There was a noisy background. And when Erica said, is that Nouvelle Solidarité? Because that was the only thing we were going on, that this was the French newspaper that Jerry had been recruited by. And in fact, because they found out that he had ambitions to be a journalist, Jerry had given me the good news a few weeks before that they had offered him a summer job. He mightn't be coming home that summer. So they were going to give him a job in this newspaper. But this was quite clever in a way, because they knew that's really what he wanted. So I said, fine, that's great, Jerry. You know, if you want to stay on there for the summer, it means I don't have to find so much work for you, which is what I sometimes had to do. So at 10:53, Sebastian, we heard them saying, "Ist die Mutter," and then the room went quiet. The phone was passed to one of the senior members, a director or a manager of the Schiller Institute. Erica says, "Are you Nouvelle Solidarity?" And she said, "We are a news agency. We are not responsible for the actions of our members. We are not responsible for the actions of our members." Which was it only struck me afterwards, this is a very strange thing to say. But however, when we eventually, 3 months later, got the police report from Germany, which I will give a few minutes about our meeting with the police, because that's also very interesting. The following day, when we arrived in Germany, the police report showed that at 11:07, according to one bit of the report, the bags were handed in at the police station, including this blood-stained passport, by someone from the Schiller Institute. So within 15 minutes. Now, they already knew that Jeremiah was dead since 6:10 a.m., and it was only when the mother phoned that they decided they would take the bags to the police station. And then, of course, if we cut to 3 months later, in fact, on the Tuesday morning, we were still in Wiesbaden. We arrived with the British consulate representative. We got to the police station in Wiesbaden at 1 p.m. and we had a meeting for about 45 minutes. And of course, we knew our son Jerry. We knew about the phone call, but he had already made up his mind within a couple of hours that this was suicide. You see, so we said, well, how could it be suicide? What makes you think it was suicide? You know, Jerry, we knew our son. We knew what a happy he was looking forward to coming home. In fact, on the previous Saturday that he was in Wiesbaden, 4 or 5 days before his death, he phoned me at my birthday party to wish me happy birthday. Sorry that he couldn't make it, but obviously, unknown to me, he was already instead of coming back to celebrate my birthday, which I didn't want him to anyway, he was on a mission, more or less inspired by his recruiter, that they were going to reconstruct the world in accordance with the conference in Wiesbaden on the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of March. And of course then he was persuaded to stay on for the cadre training, which is the group of 50 that stayed on for a few more days. And the following Thursday he was killed. But at the police station, we were trying to say, well, what about the phone call at 5:24 a.m.? But we could sense that the police, Herr Schracker, he'd already closed the case. He didn't want to hear new evidence from us. And of course, when I went back on the Tuesday morning to get some more information from him, and he started producing, having released the body on the Monday, the day before, and the body was to fly back that Tuesday evening, and I wanted some more information, and he said, I said, oh yeah, this police report, I said, will we get to read this? Will we get to see, is this a public document? That was the question I asked him, and he said, oh no, this is only for the public prosecutor. In Germany, we don't have public documents. But of course, in Britain it works differently. So the British Foreign Office requested a copy from the German authorities. So in June we got the report. And of course, when we had it translated into English, we could not believe the stuff that was in there. Now, after the meeting, Frau Kramer from the Schiller Institute was waiting outside with one of the other senior members, a physicist by the name of Tannenbaum. They invited us back, very sympathetic, back to her flat, and saying how terrible it was, and they met Jeremiah there at the meetings. We were very impressed by him and all this.